Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and today I am over at Covington's Nursery and I saw them posting on their Facebook page that they had gorgeous bougainvillea trees, and there are a couple other things I needed to pick up. So we're going to look at a few things and then I'm going to show you a plant haul at the very end. Okay, so I follow Covington's on Facebook, and they always post a lot about like what their new inventory is, what they're getting in, and they posted these gorgeous photos of these ridiculous bougainvillea trees, which I was super excited about. I have no idea where I would put one. And so I rushed over because it's right before Mother's Day weekend and you know everything's going to sell out. So let's go and see what they have. Okay, so there were a lot of people there in the middle of the day on a weekday. I was absolutely shocked. I could see the bougainvillea trees right away. Went up to this one, absolutely beautiful. It is called a Thai Delight. This is a trellis bougainvillea, and I would say it was about 6 feet tall. It was nestled in a pot, so it might have been a little taller than it actually was because it was in the pot. They had some of these shorter varieties of patio trees, which are beautiful. They were $80 each. A wide variety of colors, the typical colors, and then some more unusual colors. I was looking for like a sunset orange that I had seen on the photos. This one wasn't quite it. This one right here was 150, and this was two different varieties twined together. So you got two different colors in the same tree, which I thought was pretty stinking cool. And that one is actually a matched pair, and here's another matched pair. And you can see that this one also has two different varieties in it, which I think is really pretty and interesting. I feel like you have to find one that's like really well balanced. This one was beautifully balanced. It was all the same color, and of course it's that typical pink color, but I absolutely love it. I think it's beautiful. Now, I know these prices seem really high, but truthfully, I think it's a good price for the size of the trees. In my personal opinion, I was quite taken with this particular variety. It looks like cherry blossoms. Like it was so beautiful and whimsical and magical looking. And then I liked this one a lot. It was a looser, less structured, so it wasn't like a round ball, but just looser branching, which I thought was really great. This is actually their second shipment of bougainvilleas. They had already had one full truck and sold out of all of those. And then this was the second truck they just got in. Now here's the sunset varieties that I thought the color was beautiful. But while I was looking at these, I didn't love like the structure of each of these. Some of them were tight balls, some of them were smaller. I just didn't love the overall shape of them. And so I ended up passing on these, not because of the color, but because of the shape. But going back to the pricing, I know these seem really pricey. These are tropical plants, so they're annuals, but you can overwinter them in your garage or in your greenhouse. And that is my particular plan. I think for the price, they make quite the statement, which I think is super important. Ooh. These trees are absolutely gorgeous. They were called Flamethrower Redbud, and I love red buds, first of all, but I really like the contrast of this like yellow tones with the really burgundy deep red tones towards the tips. I can see why they're called flamethrowers. They get really tall, which will not work for my garden, but they were really fun to look at. They get about 15 to 20 feet tall, and I don't have space for that. Typically, the only kind of trees that I have any kind of space for at this point in time are ornamental trees that top out at about 6 to 8 feet. I've already put my larger trees in, and I don't plan on changing any of those out. So we're in the shade structure area. I was just poking around here looking for some shade plants so that I could add them to a hanging basket that is on my front porch. This is, I never say it, Alternaria. I thought that was a really interesting texture with those little tiny kind of lime green white blooms. Lots of beautiful hanging baskets. Of course, the nursery is completely packed for Mother's Day. which is why I rushed out here to get out here before everything sold out for Mother's Day. I figured those bougainvillea trees were going to be goners pretty quick. Now, here's some Hypericum berries in smaller gallon containers. I usually only see them in larger containers, so it was kind of nice to see them in this smaller variety. Mine have struggled big time. They are trying to come back, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to rip mine out. They only lasted about 3 years, but I did get a really nice round of blooms off them last year. They just ended up struggling again this year. Ooh, the Sun Patience. I love Sun Patience. I've been really obsessed with them this year. Look how pretty those are. It's kind of fun to do a voiceover on this nursery tour, like when I'm walking around, because I'm seeing a lot of things that I didn't notice when I was actually there walking around. Okay, but talk to me about Datura. Does anybody grow this? I think this is I think it's like a vine. I'm not sure, but I think it's very interesting, very fairy tale-esque, almost Dr. Seuss type. I'd love to try it out, but y'all let me know your thoughts. Here's Purple Heart, absolutely beautiful. Love the variegation with the pink on that. Great shade plant right there too. Here were a few that I wasn't sure about, and then this one ended up being a plumbago, which I was surprised about, especially as it's in the shade area. This is a Tradescantia. Here's a hollyhock. I'm always drawn to them. I wish I could grow them. They get rust so badly in my area. It's not even worth it. But I just love the whimsical quality of them. This one only gets about 3 feet tall. I like the ones that are like 5 and 6 feet tall. I think they're very cool. This was another Alternatheria. Lots of coleus, which I have plenty of and do not need more of at this point in time. Begonias galore, more coleus, so much color and so much life in here. It was just really nice to walk around, even though the heat index was like 100 degrees. I thought these were some kind of double impatiens, but they ended up being petunias. I'm not planting petunias anymore right now. It's just getting too hot in my area for petunias at this point, and they do not do well in our hot weather in the North Texas area. Okay, so it's hot. It's going to be about 94 degrees today. We haven't hit our high yet, and it feels like it's over 100 degrees already the week before Mother's Day. So I've been talking to some other gardeners in my area, and this has been a rough spring. It's either been hotter than usual, or rain more than usual. So it's been real tough on the gardens. But this is what I went for, this guy right here. So this is a bougainvillea. It's called Thai something. I'll put the name up at the bottom. It's a beautiful kind of creamy yellowish white mixed with a pinky blush. Absolutely beautiful. It's a two trees that are twisted up the center. And I really liked the shape of it. A lot of the trees that were there were more rounded, and I really like this kind of whimsical quality shape. It almost looks like cherry blossoms, in my opinion. This is a tropical in the area, so I will have to store this in my garage or in a greenhouse over the winter, which I don't mind doing that at all. That's not a problem. I paid a pretty penny for it. This is a 7-gallon container for $135, and I get 10% off because I buy there all the time. So anybody can do that. If you buy at Covington's Lot, get 10% off your order or off your purchase. It is a pricey expenditure, but I'm obsessed with it. And I really love it. And this is my Mother's Day present. Like, I'm really excited about it. Do I know where I'm going to put it? No. I think it's going to go out in the backyard. It's going to be a centerpiece in the backyard. So I'm really, really excited to enjoy these. I haven't grown a lot of bougainvillea in the past. I don't love its thorns. This one was not heavily thorned, so I was really excited about that. But I have not grown one. I've only grown a few in the past, so if you have any tips for growing bougainvillea and overwintering it, let me know. But let's go take a look at the other plants I picked up. So I got all the plants over here. So I think what we're going to do is, at the end of this video, is I'm going to pot up or plant up my shade basket, which is hanging right there. I've been wanting to plot it up for a while and just haven't gotten around to it, but I found a beautiful combination of plants today, which I'm really excited about it. A combination of perennials and annuals. First being this Wandering Jew, or I think it's called Purple Heart, or it's known by a lot of different names. I don't know what its like botanical name is, but it is considered perennial in this area, and I loved like the variegation purple in it. To tie in with it, I also picked up this Ming asparagus fern, which I'm really excited. It's hardy zones 9 through 11, so it might not make it over the winter, but I absolutely love it. And then I also picked up this Proven Winners one, which of course doesn't have the tag. I'll have to look it up. It's like a licorice plant, but I loved like the sagey color. And then for a bright pop of color in the container, I picked up a large container of Sun Patience. This is called Pink Kiss, and that is going to be the centerpiece for that hanging basket. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. Okay, y'all can't see it over here. Let's see if it stays. Got a hummingbird moth. Oh, he left. Okay, so while I was there, they had a plethora of varieties of lantana, and I'm going to have a video coming up of lantana because lantana is going to be one of my big focuses in the garden for the summer. In the past, it's kind of been an afterthought. This year, it's going to be a centerpiece of my garden because lantana just keeps on producing. It does great with the heat. All of my lantana died off, did not come back. Even my perennial varieties did not come back this year. But I still think lantana is worth investing in. So just a little bit about some of the varieties I picked, and then I'll have a more detailed video coming up. I picked the Lantana Purple Trailing Lantana, which is an annual in my area, and gets about 12 inches tall, 4 to 5 feet wide. Absolutely beautiful. I like to put this on the troughs in the backyard. So I got several of those. I also picked up some Proven Winners variety of lantana. This is called Luscious Marmalade, full sun, about 20 to 30 inches tall. Also an annual in this area. It's perennial in zones 9A to 11B, but love the bright tangerine color. I also picked up Lantana Dallas Red, which is a red and orange tone, full sun, about 18 inches tall by 2 to 3 feet wide. I love how big lantanas get. They come in they take up a lot of space, and they have a lot of color. Hummingbirds, pollinators, everybody loves them. Okay, and I picked up an entire tray of 4-inch plants, and these are going to take the place of a bunch of the pansies and violas I'm going to be pulling up. This particular variety is called Confetti, Lantana Confetti, 2 to 3 feet tall by 4 to 5 feet wide. So they get huge. So this is going to be going across the whole front portion of the front garden and around the side. And this plat, I think I paid $2.99 per plant in here, but I'm really excited to have these. And I love the multicolored confetti look of these that I think are going to be beautiful in the garden, giving me lots of warm tones for the summer. And then I think these colors will also tie in beautifully for the fall. Okay, because my basket is rounded on the bottom, I'm going to use this partially empty planter right here to hold it upright. And then that way I can just kind of nestle this right in and it will stay upright. Now this does have some errant sunflowers in it that I'm going to pull out. And it also has a vinca, which looks like it's trying to come back, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it out for right now. Okay, so I'm not going to be adding new soil to the container. It's got a good amount. I'll probably actually have to pull some of this out in order to be able to plant. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm just going to loosen it up for a second first. So just go ahead and take my plant out of the nursery container, and then I can backfill with the soil. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some plant tone. So it's really important to fertilize your containers and hanging baskets because the nutrients runs out so quickly in these, right? Because they are, the water flows out freely from them. So it's really important to make sure that you are not only adding a slow release fertilizer, but also doing a liquid fertilizer as well. So now this container actually has 3 different plants in it. I'm not going to separate them. I'm just going to kind of gently work this in. Here we go. Just like that. But you could take this plant and separate it if you wanted to do that. Separate it into 3 plants. Okay. Next, across from it, I'm going to put the purple heart. It's right here, and I'm really hoping that this trails over time. Look at that root system. I'm just going to loosen this up a little bit, although it will do fine. This is called Secretia. And I'm going to put this in at a little bit of an angle because I do want it to spill over the side. Okay, so now I have an area here and an area here. So on one of them, I'm going to put the Ming fern. One side, tuck that in. And yes, I am overstuffing. Yeah, I'm totally cool with that. I love overstuffing containers. All right, that's pretty. And then let me rotate this just a little bit. See, I can see this side. Got space right here on this side, and I'm angling this container, this plant as well, because I would like for it to spill over the side. Okay. Okay. And before I hang up a newly planted basket, I like to water it in place first. And then let it sit for a couple hours, let the water drain, and then hang it up in place, because then I know it's got a really good watering before I hang it up and put like a ton of extra water weight on it. Okay, I think it looks amazing. I originally had it the other way around, but then you couldn't see all the purple, and I felt like the purple was really important, especially by all of the Virginia creeper. I felt like if I had too much green, it just didn't make sense. So the asparagus fern is a little bit covered. So if I have to, I can always dig this up and move it forward if need be. But I do like the lime green, and then of course of the licorice plant, and then of course this beautiful pale pink of the sun patience. So Really excited how this turned out. This is hooked up to drip. This is on my front porch and I face north. It gets mostly shade all day and it does get a lot of ambient sunlight though, which is nice too. But really excited with how this turned out. I love it. So it's a good shopping trip today. Excited about all the lantanas. That'll be an upcoming video, getting a bunch of those planted out. They're going to be the centerpiece of my front gardens for the summer, which I'm really excited because they're very low maintenance and they just bloom their heads off. And then of course that beautiful bougainvillea, the Thai Delight. I'm really excited about that. Have no idea where I'm going to put that yet, but I cannot wait to try it out in a couple of different places. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. If you have advice regarding bougainvillea, please let me know because like in the past, I think I've owned 2 ever. And I definitely killed the one last year. I left it outside during the winter. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.